your ancestors rumored to have flouted imperial law and hidden their taint. Hear ye, hear ye! Per decree of the Emperor, your taint must be visible at all times. We got a Legend of the Five Rings RPG review, the first sourcebook review that we're doing. They're all basically location sourcebooks. Although this one is a special kind of location sourcebook, I call it clan books because it's basically all about a particular clan. It focuses on the lands of that clan, or, well, the Shadowlands, Essential Guide to the Dominion of Fu Leng. It's a Crab Clan sourcebook, right? Crab Clan in this game, best clan, objectively, scientifically proven, best clan, hashtag Crab Clan for life. Their job is to protect the Great Kaiu, well, they maintain the Great Kaiu Wall, the Carpenter Wall, against all this badness down here. And they're up here being all badass. They protect the southern border of the Empire and this wall against all the evil. And so we have, let's see, 3 chapters. The first one is history and lore of those 3 locations. Shadowlands, Wall, the Crab, and their awesomeness. Middle chapter is all player character creation options, including a new minor clan, which is great. New schools for all the great clans, and also equipment and other stuff. And then third chapter is like GM advice and new rules and advice for running Shadowlands campaign stuff. Let's get into it. Spoilers, this is the gold standard as far as I'm concerned for RPG sourcebooks. I was gonna say Legend of the Five Rings RPG sourcebooks. No, just RPG sourcebooks. This is how you do it. This is how you do it. Okay, so first 50 pages are on the Shadowlands, the next 30 whatever pages are Crab, and then like the Wall and other stuff, little stuff at the very end. But yeah, so that's basically it. And there's a common formula that we'll see in these books in general, especially in this one, where it talks about the history and lore of a place in like a broad sense. So this Shadowlands, how it got started, which they started with the origin of the gods falling, and some of them went on to make, like, samurai clans, the 7 great clans. Another one fell through Earth into hell, bonded with it, arose, started a war. Eventually he got Voldemorted. He got banished, but still, it's basically hell on Earth, the Shadowlands. Just the evil taint of Jigoku rose up and just spread like an infection. But the Wall is magical and keeps it at bay. And then we start to get into more specifics. Specific examples of that location. Fallen Chrysanthemum Lake. And then we have a couple paragraphs to talk about it. Waters of Death, and here's what the lake is like, and the dangers, blah blah blah, history, lore, blah blah blah. In every section we'll have one of these, which is sort of, I think they're like labeled differently, legends, rumors, whatever else. It's basically like little plot hooks. Once the brave Kaiu samurai attempted to chop down the nearby trees to end the plague of blossoms. Apparently there's a plague of blossoms, only for hundreds of flowers to fall on them in a huge crimson mound. When all the flowers were swept away, their body was gone. Ooh, how did that happen? Maybe there's something else behind it, a threat, and the players can come across it, and maybe one of your players gets eaten by the petals. That could be fun. I don't know, you could turn it into content. But we also have actual content. These adventure seeds, beginning, middle, end. The first part, here's the basic premise hook of the adventure. While in the Shadowlands, the players are captured in battle or woken in the night to find themselves hopelessly outnumbered by bad people. They're taken as captives, blah blah blah. Then in the middle, an opportunity rises for a daring escape, as most of them bad guys, they're on a goblin hunt and blah 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 blah. Then it's sort of the climax, like how does it end and what choices do the players make to resolve it. So beginning, middle, end, just a basic outline of the adventure. But it's more than that. It's not really an outline to an adventure, because we have all this information and the legends of the lake and general information and history on the lake, what it looks like. We have a nice little picture. We have adversary stat blocks of a couple NPCs. This is more than most. It's usually like 1 or 2, but you have NPCs that are specific to this area and also this adventure seed. It's an adventure. Just call it what it is. We just have a little modular adventure thing. Beginning, middle, end, all the pieces, backstory, a picture. What more do you want? It's an adventure. And there are like 7 entries like this of different locations, including a rat people village, the Nozumi. It's like a rat people. They live on the other side of the wall, and they kind of work with Crab Clan. 7 locations that basically follow that exact same format, everything I said they have, including that adventure seed. So we have 7 whole adventures, everything you need for an adventure. Combine that with just general knowledge about the Shadowlands and there's like a 3-page adversary section I skimmed over. You have all you need. We have 7 whole adventures and everything you need to run them. And that's just the first 50 pages. Crab Clan. We talk about the clan in general, and we talk about each of the families, the 5 families, Hida, Haruma, Kaiu, etc., etc., etc. Reputation, values, culture, traditions, couple paragraphs there. We also have a similar section, current concerns. The Hida family, they're sort of the de facto rulers, so their concerns mostly deal with how the clans relate to Crab Clan, and there's rivalries and ally ships with these clans, and you have to be careful not to step on anyone's toes, strengthen this relationship, but it could hurt this one. They're already kind of rivals, we don't want to make it any worse, or do we? I don't know. We have an adventure seed that's related to the family, as well as locations, Hida Palace, Fortress of the Forgotten. Also, there's a map. I should mention there's a map of Crab Clan and Shadowlands. You know, in the core book, there's a whole map that took up this space, and then they blew up that into a big 4-page version of that in the beginner game. Well, this is the bottom tip of that map. It's blown up, zoomed in, and enhanced. This whole area has so much more detail in all these locations that did not appear on the main map. So that's wonderful. And if you have Mask of the Oni Adventure, we're going to review that soon. There is a map, a big version of that. It's not in the book, I shouldn't be talking about it, but it's the same map, but a big version, so you have 2 copies. It's like a companion piece, the adventure and this. They constantly reference each other, so I guess I kind of have to bring it up. Anyway, that's a separate video, but yeah, we get this awesome map, and if you have that, it's even better, because you can follow along in the lore and see, oh, first they moved here, and then they went to here, and it's fun learning about the history that way. It also sticks better, which is great as a GM. It means you can improvise way easier. That was a little bit of a digression. Where were we? Oh yeah, these palaces, Hida Palace, Fortress of the Forgotten, you can find them on the map. That was the point I was trying to make. And so they do that, but with all 5 families. So we talk about the Haruma family, their reputation and values, culture, tradition, current concerns. In Mask of the Oni, it deals with finding their old main palace, because it's on the opposite side of the wall. It got lost. Oh, we also have rumors. These little sections on the here. Rumors that deal with the family. It's sort of like the Legends of the Lake and all that. Same basic premise. Help get the creative juices flowing, little plot hooks and whatever. And each of them have an adventure seed. There are 5 families. 7. So we have 12 so far. 12 mini adventures. 5 of them are for the families and the family lands, and 7 of them are in the Shadowlands. 12 adventures. That's insane. This is how you do it, right? Normally, in most books, it's just like fan fiction. It's like a Wikipedia article. Let's write a textbook on the history of our world. It's nice, but it's a little self-indulgent. It's not as useful to, like, they're not thinking about the actual consumer of your product. Maybe they just see themselves as artists or something. I don't know what it is. Then again, this is art right here. Format. You're making a game. The format of it, like, this is beautiful. To me, this is beautiful. When I look at this, I have the same feelings that people get when they, like, see stuff like this beautiful watercolor GM screen. Art. All of this is art. Beautiful. That's some fine-ass formatting. We have another section on the wall. My God, do they go into detail on the wall. History of the wall and how it fell, and they rebuilt it anew. We have an example map of one of the watchtowers. Not one of those massive watchtowers that are on the map that you could see from space. It's actually one of these. This massive mini palace here, it's one of these, and these appear in clusters throughout the entire wall, in between the even bigger, massive tower structured things. Kaiu towers and just a little baby watchtowers. Tunnels, garrison, curtain walls, how communication works along the wall, life on the wall, combat on the wall, how attacks work from early warning to initial response, all these different steps that happen, and if this happens, the crab will do this. Investigations on the wall. If you're running an investigation, which probably in most games, if you're visiting the wall, you're probably doing it on behalf of the Emerald Empire. The whole Emerald Magistrates thing, Samurai FBI, I'm not the biggest fan of it, but a lot of groups will probably be here to investigate the wall for something. And of course we have what do they call it? Rumors on the wall, more plot hook type stuff. And of course we have an adventure that deals with the wall. Wall repairs. Maybe you have to help do repairs as an exchange because you have business. Your real quest is on the other side of the wall, so typical RPG stuff. You scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. We have another section on patrols. Tools, patrol durations, patrol camps, because, you know, they have to scope out the Shadowlands, see if an attack is coming, so they send patrols out there. So now we know how they work, and there's an adventure seed for that. That section is a lot smaller, because the Shadowlands already have so much information. That's chapter 1, my friends. That is chapter 1. My god, this book is amazing. It's already well worth the price of admission. Turn off the video, go buy it. Chapter 2, player options, Electric Boogaloo. Falcon Clan, the new minor clan. If your minor clan, your favorite minor clan that you read about, maybe from previous editions or in the core book, if you hear that it's in an upcoming one of these books, get hype, son, because the amount of attention and history and lore that is paid to this is insane. Oh my god, there's so much information, more so than Tortoise Clan or Mantis Clan that we've gotten before. I don't really find them all that interesting, but, you know, the Falcon Clan, they hunt ghosts. They can see ghosts better. We have an adventure seed for Falcon Clan. What are we at now? 13? Is that 13? So we got 8 new playable samurai schools, one for each of the great clans, which is nice, and of course the one for the minor clan, Falcon Clan, Toritaka Phantom Hunter. They have sort of a, not really favored foe necessarily, but anything with eyesight and ghosts, it's enhanced. Tracking, spotting, initiative, that sort of thing. It's a little debatable just how useful it is. It really does scale based on how many spirits you come across, but you know, maybe there's good spirits, you track them down, you talk to them, maybe interrogate them, maybe it's hostile, maybe it's not, maybe you help them reach the other side or something. I don't know, whatever the equivalent ghost whisperer kind of thing is, you do that. Phoenix Clan get the Asako Inquisitor Courtier Shugenja. Their job is to hunt down blood mages, but really they're good at tracking and detecting any kind of magic, so they're pretty useful in that regard. Kakita Swordsmith, I can talk. Artisan Courtier, they're actually mentioned in the core book, so it is nice to finally see them. They make some of the best swords in all the Empire, and patterns, I forgot. They get a free pattern that they can add to any weapon every time they do a crafting check, something like that? Yeah, or a certain weapon. Patterns are a new thing you can add to a weapon. It just modifies it, basically. And so for free, they can just constantly do it because they know it right out of the gate. And also they have a bit of an edge on mechanics or smithing stuff in general, just not as often. Combat Medic for the Lion, the Kitsu Medic School. They're pretty self-explanatory, though they're not the only healer in this book. We get another unexpected healer in a minute. Crab Clan Kuni Warden, monks whose temple is basically like some creepy psychiatric prison hospital for people who are suffering from the taint, the paranormal disease, which corrupts the very Shadowlands itself. If you spend too much time in there, you might get infected, and then you might have to end up in here, basically, and they take care of you, they kind of experiment on you to figure out how to cure the taint. Okay, Miramoto Taoist Blade School. They're a warrior monk from Dragon Clan who, they're especially good at unarmed Kiho, and also, even if you have like swords, like one-handed weapons or whatever, it still counts as using unarmed Kiho. You're so good at using them that it's like you're just using your fists, how natural you are with one-handed weapons. Moto Avenger School, Unicorn Clan School, the only additional Unicorn Clan school currently. The Crane book doesn't have one. Moto Avenger School, their job is to deal with evil spirits or spirits that won't cross over into whatever, and so they sort of have to hunt them down and deal with that. Typically this means fighting zombies, because spirits were corrupted and so now they're undead, and so they typically have to do with that. Their school ability is awesome, deals with manipulating the fine line between life and death and all that, and they can be healers of sorts, sort of. Yogo Preserver School. The Scorpion Clan have some of the weirdest, most awesome creative magic people. They're kind of like the Yogo Wardmaster from the core book in a sense. They take something that any spellcaster can do, well, assuming in this case they have a spell. You have to get a spell first. A new spell from this book, Craft Shikigami. You basically craft an origami familiar, kind of? Like, remember when you were a little kid and you had your lunch ticket and you would fold it into a frog? Was that only my school? Or did everyone do that? You pull it into a frog. You can do that, but with paper, or even like, I don't know, fire, little elements. It doesn't have to be paper. But you make a little familiar out of it, and they have a personality and intelligence, and they listen to your orders mostly, and you can imbue them with spells even, and just have them do stuff. And anyone can take this spell, any Shugenja can take that invocation, and then you have it, and that'd be awesome. I want to play a crab clan and have a little adorable paper crab walking around, just a little mascot for your clan. That's cute. I like that. They can do one for all the 7 great clans eventually. They can just do that, but more of it, kind of like the Yoga Wardmaster. Every spellcaster can do this. Well, I can do it, but even more of it. And also, they're better with it, giving orders to these little guys, and they can have an army. The creativity that could come from that. We have a bunch of Shadowlands specific advantages and disadvantages, dead eyes, because you saw some stuff and you just can't believe it, and you just have this like glazed look on your eyes kind of a thing. Or maybe you're a friend of the rat people. You are a reformed Mahutsukai. It's like a specific cult of blood mages, I think. And really advanced Shadowlands taint affliction, or whatever they call them. We have new samurai heritages, which is a part of the character creation process. You have someone in your family who is an infamous builder, you know, because the Kaiu wall engineers, it's a big part of Crab's tainted blood. Your ancestors rumored to have flouted imperial law and hidden their taint. Hear ye, hear ye! Per decree of the Emperor, your taint must be visible at all times. And of course we got new equipment that are wall, or crab wall specific. Actually, yes, wall specific, I was right. Doom crossbow, it's like a 3-foot crossbow, not quite a siege weapon ballista, but better, or bigger than a regular crossbow, more damaging. You have to be extra strong, get that extra strong advantage, impressive strength, or whatever it's called. Get that to be strong enough to lift and carry this massive crossbow. Otherwise you have to like mount it onto a wall or something. And there's like wall armor where it's just almost one-sided, but you're vulnerable in the back, and so you're just like a walking turret. That'd be great. And then we have equipment for different types of characters, different repair kits for like if you're a bowman or engineer or whatever else. Some good gear, smoke arrows. Okay, here's the really cool stuff. So we have a couple different categories of really awesome fat loots, purple gear, that type of stuff. Magic stuff that can, you know, be used to, like, this is a quest item. Go find the Black Pearls of Fu Leng. That's a bad one. We have cursed artifacts of Jigoku. The Anvil of Despair, Porcelain Mask of Fu Leng. Maybe your players don't know it, maybe they could know it, that it's actually evil, but they roll a check, they fail, oh, it's just a magic thing, or it's just a cool mask, I'll put it on, it'll be fine. So we have evil artifacts, blessed treasures, signature scrolls, mostly Shugenja can use them. Patterns, that's the other one. Modify a weapon, it helps with weapons or armor. There's only like 3 or 4 each a lot of the times, but there's enough there to where you can just get a sense of what they do, how powerful they are, and, you know, make your own. I like the variety here, I love stuff like that. Make it a quest item. A couple magic spells, already talked about half of them. Yes, there's only 2. Blood magic, we have expanded lore stuff on blood magic, and a whole mess of new techniques. I think the core book only had like 3 or 4 or something. I don't think there were that many. And then the last chapter, mostly just advice on playing the Shadowlands. How to create a sense of creeping dread. They talk about different types of horror, visceral horror, paranoia, how to weave that into your game. How to deal with players who are Crab Clan players, but also players who have been tainted, dealing with those players, and I think there was like role-playing advice on it somewhere. We have new titles, only 4, but they're crab-specific. The Damned, Witch Hunter, 20 Goblin Crab. But there's just some cool lore stuff here, and for those of you who don't know, you level it up, and eventually you can unlock a really cool ability. And it wouldn't be a Fantasy Flight RPG book without a couple charts that talk about how to spend advantages, opportunity results on checks in the Shadowlands. Spending opportunity while you're tainted, that's interesting, and then spending opportunity against threats who are tainted. You can create your own Oni. The demon generals, there's all different types, so you craft your own basically as a GM. There's like Vile Trickster, Savage Brute, Hellish Sorcerer, and ones that are even more powerful. So you got like the specialists who are kind of weaker, the more trickster type, or the big strength guy, or the magic person, and then you have just more advanced less weaknesses, more all-strength kind of characters. Anyway, it's a basic stat block, right? You start with that, and then you add on all these Shadowlands powers, like Bony Carapace, and, you know, it modifies their challenge rating, or whatever they call it here, but also modifies their stats, makes them more powerful. Some don't actually fit with others. You can't have Serpentine Speed and also have a Bony Carapace, one or the other. There's a bit of balance there, and you probably don't want to give them too many abilities, but yeah, you can customize all these awesome abilities. Maybe they have a human mask, they can assume human shape, obsidian jaws, or whatever else. There's some really cool powers here. And also we have more information on tenets of Bushido, the courage tenet of Bushido. Just difference between courage and bravery. Stat blocks for making like Crab Clan Samurai, Falcon Samurai, Tainted. Okay, I'm done. This book is amazing. This book is fantastic, and it's really disappointing that the Crane Clan book, it doesn't do some of the great stuff that this really, like, oh my, how many, what was it, 15 different adventures in here alone? There might even be more and I missed them. A location source book, 15 adventures. It's not just a history book on here's all our lore we put together, read our fan fiction. No, they're here for you, to help you run your game. That's what this is for. It's a guide to help you run your game. Not just blobs of stuff that actually happened in a fictional world, but blobs of stuff and what you can do with it, and other tools to help you do stuff with the blobs of stuff even better. Good stuff. Every RPG expansion should be this great. There is no excuses. I will accept no excuses, and I'm also so happy that it was my favorite clan, Crab Clan, that got the star treatment. This book is amazing. Any GM should get it, really, because a lot of players, if they're interested in a new RPG world, the whole evil realm, and a big clan that is dedicated to, we will hold the line, we will make our stand here, blah blah blah, all that fun stuff, chest thumping, fight evil until we die, fun heroic stuff, classic RPG kind of stuff, but flavored differently, you know, because it's not token crap for once. Most people are going to be pretty receptive to it, is my point. And it's done so well. It's so easy. Just so easy. All that content is there. And you can go to the map and just move them around the map, all the different locations. Oh, you want to go in this direction? We got an adventure for that. Oh, you want to go here? We got an adventure for that. Well, it's more of an like a short adventure, encounter. It depends. There's a lot of content, and you can string it together in a plot in and of itself if you want, or just let them wander. Can't say enough good things about it. I actually want to, but I'm going to save it for the adventure review. When I review that adventure, we're going to go back to talking about this, because they fit so well together. That's it for today. If you like this video and want to see more, visit my Teespring store, and you can see some merch. Chaotic Lazy. See, I wanted like a D&D alignment thing, but none of the alignments actually fit me. This one, though, it speaks to me. Chaotic Lazy. Instead of Lawful Good, no, that's not me. Chaotic Evil, some days, but in general, not me. Chaotic Lazy, that's the ticket. That's it right there. If it speaks to you, go to my Teespring store and buy it, or buy some other stuff. We got other stuff.